then.
Thank you.
How have you prepared? You're obviously very close in the league. Do you prepare differently for such a tight game as you might do playing somebody perhaps lower down the league?
No, they're all tight games. So incredible amount of respect for every club. We got beat at Barnsley. I don't know if you know, about 3-0 about 2 weeks, 3 whatever it was, about a couple of weeks ago. So my respect for the division is enormous. So you can get hurt by anybody, or you can beat anybody. I think that's just the nature of the division. So our preparation is absolutely the same. I will bring Chelsea into it because our preparation will be the same for Manchester United, Tottenham and Chelsea as it will be for Barnsley, Millwall, Hull, Sheffield United, Fulham, whatever it is. Obviously the situation in time is quite difficult because, as you've seen regarding our sort of fixture list, how tight it is, and how little time you have to really, go through stuff that you would like to go through. It's really recovery, game Tuesday, recovery Wednesday, first day preparation Thursday, second day preparation Friday, and then, as I said today, we're travelling and obviously a big game on Saturday at Millwall.
And how did the squad come through that? Any
we wrote for Anthony Dijksteel, who missed out on Tuesday, will be good. He missed out through illness. Riley McGree will miss the game. He's a little bit of a complication regarding his injury, so he's not available and he won't travel. But apart from that, we've got everybody available to travel down to London.
Okay, and just lastly, it's not about Chelsea, but that wider political thing that's going on in the Ukraine. Does it affect the players at all? Do they talk about it?
I don't know. I'm not in the changing room. I think obviously, what I will say, obviously, we've got huge sympathy about what's going off, and obviously, from myself, from a personal point of view, I thought, through history, we got over all situations like this about 80 years ago. But obviously, it's incredibly disappointing, and I don't think disappointing is a big enough word. So I think you've seen the reaction from the football world. How everybody's reacted towards the situation, and with a huge amount of sympathy for the people of Ukraine, and hopefully, the sooner everybody comes to the senses and this ends, the better. Thank you.
Chris, hello. Can I just ask you, obviously massively disappointing the result at Sheffield United. What's it been like the last few days since then? I assume you obviously had to have words. Yeah,
it's not an holiday camp, so I'm not here, like I said, here to entertain the players. We're here to make them better, to talk to them about our thoughts, short term and long term. So yeah, there's some stern words. Not really afterwards. I told the players to reflect on their performances because I didn't think it was good enough. I thought they let themselves down more than anything because they're a lot better than what they produced. Even though I thought Sheffield United were excellent on the night, I thought they were outstanding. Obviously I know people in that area and they said that was far and away their best performance for over a year. And you've seen the quality that they've got, and obviously I know Paul, and he's a smart guy, and he's a good coach and a good manager. He's had experienced people around him, and I think I think if maybe Paul had been in charge at the start of the season, they would have been pushing Fulham to get out of the division. So beaten by the better side in all departments, but I expect a lot more from our point of view, a lot more of a closer game. I thought we were miles off. I think that's maybe the inconsistency of where we are a little bit at the moment, from home to away, that what we produce at home to Tottenham, and then what we produce away. I've not been too critical of what happened at Barnsley, QPR, and especially Barnsley and Bristol City, because I thought there were individual moments and small parts of the game that hurt us. but I was hugely critical of what went off on Tuesday night. And while the era now is so important, the future as well is really important, because that was, I keep saying, what I've been brought in to deal with. So part of my job is to observe as well, in terms of who's going to be on the journey, who's going to, you know. So even though it's a team game, as I've just said, it sometimes turns into an individual sport, that these players, if they get an opportunity, have got to take their opportunity and show to me and to the coaching staff that they want to be here and be part of, hopefully, a successful future, because there's no doubt about it in my mind, this will be a successful football club in the next 2 or 3 years. Hopefully it'll be a successful football club in the next 2 months, but certainly it will be. We'll get it right, but it's still a hell of a lot of work to do, and maybe just a reset button for everybody to sort of feet on the ground, really, you know, in terms of we've done great in certain parts of it, but there's still a hell of a lot of work to be done from my point of view, and a lot of proving from the players that they want to be, as I keep saying, to get on the journey, to be on the journey.
I suppose it's important to remember as well that, you know, you came in, this was another football manager's squad. You've only had one window, really, so those sort of inconsistencies are going to happen. Yeah,
I don't like them. I don't enjoy them. I didn't like the look of the team on Tuesday night. You know, I like, and it is quite disappointing at times, because, you know, away from home, you know, on some occasions I've liked the look of the team. You know, the Blackpool game, adversity, you know, 1-0 up, tough night for everybody, late equaliser, going to the end and getting the winner. The Huddersfield game, one of the first away games involved, against a really good side. Stoke, even though it was 0-0, solid, strong away performance. That's what I want it to look like, and show those qualities. You have to show different qualities away from home, and at times we're not showing them, and we certainly didn't show them on Tuesday. As I said, I've not been too critical about 2 or 3 of the performances, but the fact of the matter is that's 1 point out of 12 away from home, and we're not going to do anything between now and the end of the season if that continues. Yeah, I understand that, and I think that that's not an excuse. That's a fact that we've had one window to work in, and I think everybody really understands. There's no business really goes on in January of any note. The big business goes on at the end of the season, unless some clubs have done major business, but I'm not so sure if that wasn't right for us to do. We weren't in that position to do major business in January. I think everybody accepts that. And coming in at the time that we did, and I keep saying, huge commodity is time on the training ground to fix things. We haven't got that. We haven't got the squad that I think will be successful in the future in terms of the qualities that I'm looking at. We have got some of it, but not where it really wants to be or needs to be. But we've still got an obligation, and we've still got a pride, and we've still got an ambition to get something out of this season. So, in a way, only 3 points dropped on Tuesday, but the manner of the performance it was concerning, and the players that get picked on Saturday will have an opportunity of turning that around, and they're the fortunate ones.
I get the sense, because it was Sheffield United, that defeat hurt more personally than any other?
Nah, God. I think from a professional point of view, I spoke to Tony Mowbray yesterday for 5 minutes, and it hurts whoever you get beat by. Yeah, I'm lying. Of course, I'm lying. Of course, it did hurt a little bit more, because you want to go back and you want to put a good performance on, and we were miles off of it. So yeah, it did. Of course, it did a little bit more, and I think that's only human and that's only natural. And I think people would expect that. But a defeat as a pro is really tough to take. from a managerial point of view, and I've gone along always. And I think Tony will back this up. Then I think the highs are a lot higher as a manager, and the lows are a lot lower as a manager than they are as a player, and that's always been the case in the last 20 years. I struggle to get over defeat quickly, and I'm not saying a week, but the next 12 hours, 24 hours are a real struggle, and they should be for everybody, and they certainly are for myself and the coaching staff, and I do believe they would have been for the players as well. They wouldn't have enjoyed what happened on Tuesday, and obviously, reset and an opportunity of going again on Saturday.
That must be really tough even as an individual, as a person, to ride that sort of emotional wave.
It definitely is an emotional job that you're in, and you sometimes feel, does this get any easier with age and experience? And it doesn't. It doesn't. The pain that you feel when I was 30, 31, going into my first job, to now, 20 years down the line, is exactly the same. And it doesn't matter what you've achieved. It doesn't matter if you've got a couple more quid in the bank account. It doesn't matter if you're, whatever level you're managing at, whether there's 3,000 or 4,000 home fans or this 30,000, whether it's not getting covered media-wise, or it's live on Sky or BBC or ITV. The pain of defeat is still there, and I think now I've realised it for quite a while, that I think it'll be there till the I don't know. Is there a saying? What is this? It's not an hang up the boots saying, is there? What is it for when a manager sort of hangs up his big coat or something like that? I don't know, something like that.
I suppose managers in the old days might have had a fancy hat.
Sheepskin coat?
Yeah.
Hang up the sheepskin coat.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that.
Okay. With age, I suppose, comes experience, though. The more clubs you managed, do you find better ways to cope with those sort of emotional highs?
I think what happens as well, being the leader, and obviously sort of people that looking for how you go about your business are ultra positive. I've been critical of what's gone off, but there's still a hell of a lot of positives in terms of what we're doing here and how we've done it over the last sort of 17 or 18 games, and what we've got in front of us as well. As I said, there's only 3 points dropped, and you have to come back in and you have to dust yourself down quickly. But it is, like I said, it's not a game finishes. We've lost. I've got the face on for an hour or two, and then here we are. It does take it out of you, but you wake up the next morning and you're looking to the next game straight away, and the fabulous opportunity that it gives you working in the Championship is usually that next game is sort of 2 or 3 days away, and back amongst the players, getting into the players, and helping them to put it right on Saturday.
And that next game, I say this without any seriousness at all, a nice easy one away to Millwall.
Always, always got some memories there. Ones that maybe I'll keep to myself, but it's tough place to go, and they're all tough places to go. Barnsley was tough, Millwall's tough, Sheffield United was tough. We've got some real challenges ahead of us away from home. Of course, the sort of position in the league has been built on home form, but got to understand that we'll do well to keep that record between now and the end of the season. We've got to pick some points up on the road, and we've got to pick them up pretty quickly. We've got 2 big away games now coming up, and if we want to be in the mix and be in an healthy position going into the international break, we need something from both games, and that's what we're looking to get. Then we have an opportunity of breathing again, getting his heads together, clearing his heads, and for a big finish. We're still in the fight, but we won't be in the fight if we reproduce what happened on Tuesday. We will be in the fight if we reproduce what's happened for 90% of my period in time. So we'll as we do now, focusing on the positives and getting the boys prepared for a really tough afternoon in South London.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Chris, just picking up what you were saying there about the emotions and the difference between when you were a player and a manager. It's quite interesting because we've spoken about, at times that as a manager there's so much you can do, and then it's up to the players when they go on the pitch. Obviously when you are a player, you are then in control of your performance. But it's the management one that highs higher, lows lower. Quite interesting. I don't know if you can put your finger on why that might be.
When the team plays well, the players get the credit. When the team plays poorly and you lose, the manager gets the grief. So you can't really put your finger on it really. But you're right. They have an opportunity of controlling that situation. But that's just, as I said, that's from my personal experience. And you have to take responsibility for your performance. And as I said, I wasn't. When you got beat as a player, it wasn't like I said. Laughing and singing and dancing on the back of the coach when you've just been thumped 4-1. There's responsibility and emotions involved in that because you're professional and you've got a huge pride about you to be that professional. But certainly from a management point of view, sometimes you feel helpless. You can change it slightly, but you have to. We're all in this together. So these are the highs and lows of being a manager, the pitfalls that you have to encounter and deal with, and we all have a choice to do what we need to do. And I took that choice at 31, 32 to be a coach and a manager, and but still in terms of that decision, it was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, and just another thing, it's hard to put your finger on. You mentioned that away form, and certainly the 3 games before Sheffield United, there were a lot of positives to take from that. And, is it kind of a concern at all, this away form, because you're not getting the results, but also hard to kind of finger point where it's going wrong?
No, I think that it was pretty clear where we went wrong. We got beat by the better side. There's no doubt about it. As I said afterwards, you've got to look at the opposition and how they played, and they're arguably their best performance for over a year, and the quality that they've got, and obviously always tough playing away from home, in that sort of environment, and how it was on the night as you were there and you understood that. But from our point of view, we went too long. We went back to front. We didn't take responsibility with the ball. We weren't brave enough in possession when we had a chance to play. We didn't. We took the easy option in terms of going long, which disappointed me because 7 days ago against a top 5-6 Premier League team, we played round them, through them and over them, and made some really good decisions with the ball. And then out of that, for the first 20 minutes, you want to go away from home and get a foothold in the game. We did. Then we conceded 2 ridiculous goals. The two goals that really give you a mountain to climb. And as we talked about, what effect that has on Sheffield United players, which you saw all of a sudden. And still in that, we had an opportunity of getting back into the game. But if you don't pass it, keep possession and dominate the ball, or try and dominate the ball, you won't create chances. If you go long into 2 lads that are 5'9" and 5'10" and just smash it forward like we've never done, then we're not gonna have that opportunity of dominating the ball and keep giving it away. And if you concede really poor goals and give the ball away cheaply, which we did, we gave the ball away so cheaply, you're going to allow the opposition to go on top of you, and then stick in a couple of ridiculous goals first half. You're going in at half time with a mountain to climb.
Yeah, do you think there's anything in it in terms of it being home and away and the difference, or do you think it's just almost like a coincidence or a pattern in the...
No, it shouldn't be. We don't change anything, and I've looked at it. We're obvious. Like straight after the game, what do we do? Do we change our strategy? Do we go? Are we going to be a counter-attacking team? Do we go longer? Do we play? I don't want to. I want to play this way because everybody's enjoying it. I want it, and it's got results, and it will get results away from home. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Is it a mentality? Possibly. It might be a mentality. Is it a formation change? I don't really want it to be, because it shouldn't really be. If you want to be a successful team, you can't. How can I say this? I said it yesterday to the players. 23 home games. So that's 69 points. You're still going to need another 20 points away from home if you win every home game. You ain't going to win every home game. So you've got to pick up some points away from home. So your away record has got to be good and solid. Your home record, we talked about, that's where your punters are, where you really want to be dominant and set a tone. But you've got to pick up points away from home if you want to be at the top of the division or you want to get in the playoffs. And 1 point from 12, regardless of how I see it, which I think honestly I saw it for 3 of the games, was okay in a lot of factors, but we've got to take that criticism, and myself and the players have got to take that criticism. That's 1 point from 12 away from home, which is, that was it, wasn't it? I've got that right. Yeah, 15. Yeah, 1 point from 15. No, you're right. Yeah, so that's 1 point from 15 away from home. So 5 games, we've got 5 away games left. If we pick up 1 point from 15, we're not going to be in the playoffs, and our season will just fizzle out. So we've got to fake that. We've got to fake that. There might be some tweaks in terms of the way we play, but I don't want to just hand over possession to an opposition, because I think that, if somebody just hands over possession to us away from home, then we're gonna dominate them that team. And I think I would say our hardest performance, our hardest game this year was Coventry, where they came and they had a go, and I want us to have a go away from home. And but you've got to show more to than what we have done recently.
Yeah, and I guess within that as well, you've got to have that kind of belief and faith in your system, and also there's the factor that, as you say, there's not much coaching time. It has only been 4 months. So there's got to be a bit of that consistency and belief in what you're doing. Yeah,
but there's no excuses for me, Craig. Like, there's no excuses that it's 1 point from 15. So there's no hard luck stories. We're architects of that. No. Listen, I'm not saying if we'd have played to the best of our ability that we'd have won on Tuesday night because of the teams. But for me, looking at the players, 3/4 of this division, for me, if we say yes in our changing room, the result would be decided in our change room. But at the moment, the result is being decided in our change room in a negative way, away from home, and that's something we've got to definitely get over.
Just lastly from me, you mentioned Riley McGree and the complications. Is that something you're willing to kind of go a bit expand upon?
Yeah, he'll not be available till the international break. So. That's really disappointing. It's something a little bit deeper, and but he will be okay. Possibly getting fit for Australia, which is great. He'll possibly be right to go away there, but he'll be back for the Peterborough game. So he's out. So we've had it scanned again, and he's extremely disappointed. It's just an issue in there, but it's not short term in terms of he's going to be ready for next Birmingham or Chelsea, but he'll be definitely available for the Peterborough game.
Difficult for the rest of the midfield, as you say, games coming thick and fast. The recovery in between games is going to be key.
You just got to get through it. I'm 100% sure that Martin would have got more game time. Piero, he was coming onto a game. And Riley would have got more game time as well. So Mark Bowler coming back. Obviously, we've rotated the strikers, and at the back, on the old, it is quite difficult because, in a bit of a mad way, if we'd have lost at home, then maybe the team might change a little bit more, an opportunity for other players to come in. But because they play so well against Tottenham and the home record has been absolutely spot on, I can't have an away team and I can't have an home team. So, the consistency that we're looking for, you can't win 7 games at home or whatever and then change the team for away from home and then change the team back at home. So the players have got to get the finger out basically and produce what they're producing at home, away from home, and if we do that, we'll be fine.
Just on Martin, is there a bit more of a firmer time scale on his recovery, or is he still kind of assessing?
No, he's because he didn't have an op. It really is a sort of week by week situation, but one that he's really working hard towards. I'm sure that he'll be back before the end of the season, which is good.
Again, doubly frustrating for him, given that Riley's been out.
Yeah.
Well, he would have been, as you say, featured quite heavily.
They would have done, yeah. They would have done, but they're not, so we can't. Everybody's had it. Everybody's having these situations at this period of the season. I think it's obviously cleared up a lot more than what it was when I first took over. But we've got one soft tissue injury, which I think at the time we had sort of 5 or 6. So and obviously Martin's injury was a tackle, which really can't really do anything about.
Because you were going to look over everything to do with the medical.
Yeah.
At the start of the season. So, what were your assessments of the whole thing then?
Yeah, some good people there that we're working really closely with. Some experienced people in there, and Chris and the Doc, and we brought Nick Allenby in from Sunderland, who we'll work closely with, and obviously the department with Matt Prestridge, who I've worked with for the last 6 or 7 years as well, who's very good and very knowledgeable, and so the structure of it is still something that we're looking at, but everybody's giving their best performances off the pitch as well, working extremely hard, and obviously you have your tweaks to how you want to condition the players, and I think to be fair, distance is covered and how they've looked. So I think there was an issue when we took over about second half goals. I think the team looked stronger. I think if you only just look at that Tottenham game, late on in games, and in that, especially that Tottenham game, we looked strong. We looked physically in a good place, and the conditioning of the group is good. I'm a big believer that if the work that you do away from the lights will keep you nice and healthy when it's game time, and with one soft tissue injury, that's sort of obviously there for everybody to see.
Just lastly for me, obviously you've been able to tap into something really good with the home form. 9 wins in a row really suggests that. Are some of those elements maybe transferable when it comes to the kind of away form, or is that a bit too simplistic?
I don't think I don't think that there should be a drop off, but there hasn't been really. I mean, I think that I think you look at I keep saying, if you look at a performance against QPR and you look at performance against Luton Town, you beat Luton Town 2-1 at home, and it's 3 points, and it's part of that 9 games, and you draw away at QPR 2 each, and I would possibly say, from a footballing point of view and performance point of view, the QPR game was a better performance than the Luton game. So it's quite baffling at the moment why we're not, but we're going to have to get to the bottom of it, because certainly, as I said, it's hurting us at the moment, and if we all want to be successful, short term between now and the end of the season, we have to deal with it. It has to be better, and obviously for next year it will have to be better. And it's quite difficult as well to be critical, because I think they're a really together group, and mentally they're strong. To keep going, to come back, to get that result at Old Trafford, to do what they've done on the road at Blackpool, and there's a lot of positives in it. Is it just down to individual errors? Is that like a lack of concentration? We're just trying to work all these things out. But as you said, there has to be a consequence, whether it's medium or long term to this, because if it carries on, then we're set up to go well next year. We certainly have to look at that from a really in depth and personal point of view.